पंचामृता के सारे प्रोडक्ट्स
जो खाने में पौष्टिक तत्व की कमी को भर देते हैं। आई सर्टिफाइड, वेयर फूड इज फोर्टिफाइड।
नमस्कार. आयच्या डिबेटात तुमकां सगळ्यांक येवकार. आनी आयचो विशय आमचा तो अत्यंत म्हत्वाचो आसा. खंयच्याय डेमोक्रेसी भितर जितलें रुलींग इम्पॉर्टंट तितलेंच ओपोजिशन इम्पॉर्टंट. आनी सद्याक गोंयांतल्या ओपोजिशनाची आनी वेगवेगळ्या विरोधी पक्षांची जर परिस्थिती पळयली जाल्यार कितें उलोवचें तेंच कळना. पूण कितें उलोवचें हाजेरच आमी आज डिबेट करतात. आनी प्रत्येक पक्षाकय आमी एनालायज करतले. दोन मानेस्त आसतात स्टुडियो भितर म्हजे बरोबर. गोंयांतले दोन नामनेचे आदवोगाद आनी एक पॉलिटिकल एनालिस्ट सिद्धार्थ बाब सामंत आनी राधाराव बाब ग्रासियस. हांव राधा बाब तुमचे कडच्यान सुरवात करता. वी विल गो इन टू द डिटेल्स वन बाय वन. बट वेन यू लूक एट द ओवरऑल पिक्चर ओपोजिशनाची सद्याची गोंयांतली परिस्थिती आनी जनरली अशें केन्नाच जायनाशिल्लें. एक इलेक्शनाक 6 म्हयने आसतना आमकां दिसता की ओपोजिशन गियर अप जाता. मागीर कितलेय जरी तांकां मातशी मरगळ आयिल्ली असली दे स्टार्ट गियरींग अप. ह्या खेपेक आमकां नेमकें उलटें जाल्लें दिसता. वॉट हॅज हॅपन्ड राधाराव बाब?
What happens now, we have an uneasy feeling now that the Congress has probably given up the fight. Now, and we have all-round difficulty. You see what is happening. First, according to me, there are all aspects of governance and the voters are now completely cynical. The voter is cynical. You see, when you contest an election, you will elect to be an MLA, member of the Legislative Assembly. The voter nowadays is hardly bothered about the legislative abilities of the person they elect. They are more concerned whether the MLA will be able to deliver the goods, as they say, the terms. Now, deliver the goods, generally, it is the work of a coolie to deliver the goods. So MLAs, the people expect their MLAs to be coolies. And when you elect such fellows, they then shift over to the ruling side, saying that we are going for
goodies
development, which is delivering the goods.
Yeah.
And MLAs constantly, when they are asked what is their work, they don't talk of what they have done in the house. They don't talk of good legislation. They talk of having built roads, provided jobs, and all sorts of things. Now, this is the main reason why everything is down and out. Now, let us see, the Congress has been in
You are blaming the voter.
No, I am not blaming. I am blaming the voter, I am blaming the government, I am blaming the opposition, and more importantly, I will blame the judiciary and I will blame the press. These are the 5 responsible.
So you are blaming everybody?
Yes, and I will explain why I am blaming each one of them.
बरें. सिद्धार्थ बाब, तुम्ही जेन्ना पळयतात जनरली तुमचं केन्नाय रुलिंगाच्या सायडीन किंवा बीजेपीच्या सायडीन मातसो सॉफ्ट कॉर्नर आसता. पण एक सिटीजन म्हणून आदवोगाद म्हणून सद्याची ओपोजिशनाची परिस्थिती पळयतकीर तुमकांय मातशी भितरल्यान मातशे अशे त्रास जाल्ले अशें दिसनात?
ऑफकोर्स. Opposition has failed to fulfill their constitutional, political, social and moral duties. That's their first failure. Second, tragedy with Goa is not that there are no issues. Tragedy with Goa is that there is no credible opposition vehicle to carry those issues. आता जर तुम्ही पळयले जाल्यार see, there are various issues, including land, including crimes, including so many issues are there, unemployment. But Goekar voters kiwa common citizen, can they trust opposition for purpose of raising these issues? That is where, and that, what is it? What does this signify? They have lost all moral right. They have lost all constitutional right. They have not fulfilled their duties as an opposition. In short, they have forgotten their dharma as an opposition. This. first question to them, there was whatever the mandate was in BJP's form, but you also had a limited member. Have you been able to protect that mandate? ना तुमचे लोक सोडून थंय वतात. Have you been able to raise pertinent questions of people in assembly or on streets? Dismal performance. Have you been able to Goa-centric issues? Have you been able to bring on the forefront or limelight? Zero this. Do you show any coordination among all the opposition? At least जे उरल्यात पळय 3, 2, 2 आणि 1 उरल्या पळय आणि आरजीपीचो एक तांची तरी एक तुमची एकठांय दिसता.
कित्याक जाला, किती जाल ते कळणे आमकां, कित्याक जाला.
See, this is happening because opposition is fractured. Opposition are selfish and self-centered. People from various parties are being borrowed by every party. Everybody who enters politics today is entering not with the help of, not with an intention of doing social work, but it is with an intention of I will become an MLA and then after if my party doesn't come to power, maybe I will defect. So they are going for greener pastures, not for greenery of Goa. So they, selfishness, self-centeredness, putting interest of the state at back, putting your interest in front, that is the reason why the kind of opposition or kind of opposition that we are seeing today.
म्हाका राधा बाब सांगा, डू यू अग्री विथ दीस? ते आतां ओपोजिशनाक ब्लेम करतात, हांव रुलिंगाक ब्लेम करना न्ही. लोकांक सरकारा विशीं राग आसा. हांवें पयर आमच्या रावंड टेबलाचेर म्हणिल्लें, लोकांक सरकारा विशीं राग आसा आनी सद्याक ओपोजिशन ज्या तरेन वागता ते पयल्या ओपोजिशना विशीं तिडक आसा. अशी एक विचित्र परिस्थिती गोंयाक तयार जाल्या. राधा बाब, तुमकां मान्य आहा हें फक्त प्रत्येक मनीस जो राजकारणां येता तो फक्त सेल्फीश इंट्रस्ट घेवन येता म्हणून आज ओपोजिशनाची परिस्थिती अशी जाल्या की ते आज जेन्ना स्टँड घेतात, एक आयडियोलॉजिकल पोजिशनींग जे लागता मनशाचें किंवा आयडियोलॉजिकल कमिटमेंट जी लागता ती आज लेजिस्लेटरां मदीं उरिल्ली ना. आयचे ह्या वटेच्यान उलोवपी लेजिस्लेटर फाल्यां त्या वटेन वचपाक शकता. आज काँग्रेसी आशिल्लो बीजेपी वता, फाल्यां बीजेपी आशिल्लो आमी काँग्रेसी गेल्ले, हाजे पयलीं काँग्रेस सेंटरा आसतना पळयल्यात. सो ही जी गजाल जाल्या ती कित्याक लागून जाल्या?
कित्याक मरे प्रमोद, I generally agree with what my colleague has said, Siddharth. But I do not agree with him that MLAs are going for greener pastures. You see, if they were to go for greener pastures, they would go to Pakistan. They are going for saffron pastures in Goa. If you have noticed, they are all going for saffron pastures. Now, I will explain that. See, it is not just the opposition to blame. The BJP is intolerant of opposition. They do not want any opposition, even at a local level, at a political level. So they are on an acquisition spree. After the last 2 elections, they have acquired 2/3 of the Congress legislators. Now, for a functional democracy, the government must also respect the opposition and not misuse its wealth for acquisitions. So the government is equally responsible to depriving Goa of a credible opposition. Now the problem is, you go back to Parrikar days. Parrikar started with 0, but he was leading every movement. He challenged the Congress on every front. Now Congress had 15 years where they are in opposition. Have you ever seen the Congress launch a movement, organize opposition? In fact, in Goa, the role of opposition is being played by activists. You'll see individual activists are running here and there. The Congress has failed in its duty to organize the existing disenchantment with the government and channelize it in its own direction. That is the unfortunate truth. Now let us go into the further aspects. You see, these MLAs defecting. Once again, let me point out, this Anti-Defection Act is a defective act framed by the Congress itself. And they framed it thinking that they will be forever in power. And they gave the power to decide on defections to the Speaker. The cardinal principle of law throughout the world is, no man shall be a judge in his own cause. Now, when you are giving the powers to the Speaker, essentially the Speaker decides his own fate. Because if you disqualify them, you may also have to be removed from office. So this is an aspect which goes against general rule. And this is where I have said the judiciary has failed. You see, the High Court and the Supreme Court have extraordinary powers under Article 32 or 226 of the Constitution. And when things go bad, totally wrong, the courts cannot simply rely on technicalities. they must intervene and they must pass some orders which would see that the speaker should never be the deciding authority. They should say he cannot be because his interests are involved. And if you notice, under the Representation of People's Act, whenever an election is challenged or whenever an MLA has to be disqualified for various reasons, the authority is the High Court. Why should here only the authority should be the speaker?
Correct.
So the whole, therefore, all this matter of 2/3 defecting and all, this could only be corrected if there is positive intervention by the courts, not leaving technicalities aside, and insist that the speaker has no powers and give the powers to some judicial authority.
Radha, but before I go to Siddharth, तुम्ही म्हणतात न्ही जी प्रकरणां स्पीकरान डिसाइड करून ज्युडिशियरी म्हऱ्या गेली ती ज्युडिशियरी टाइम बाउंड मॅनरान डिसाइड करना न्ही नेक्स्ट इलेक्शन जाले की डिसाइड करता मागीर
I agree with you. You see, as I have said, there is failure on the part of judiciary in striking it down, and secondly, in passing, is at least in differentiating between matters which go to the root cause of things in India and decide them on a expeditiously.
At least next election जाते मेरेन तरी decide
No, not next. Immediately. You see, when the law
immediately केला खूप बरं झालंय.
Within 6 months, the situation is not such that Supreme Court or High Court has no time at all. They have time. They have time to grant bail at midnight. They have granted bail at midnight. So when critical questions come, they should set aside everything. And there is a huge number of judges there. So constitute a bench and let them hear and dispose it of.
Okay.
Sit until it is disposed of.
सिद्धार्थ बाब तुम्ही एग्री करा ते म्हणतात दोन मुद्दे एक वेळ बीजेपी हॅज बिकम इंटॉलरंट अबाउट ओपोजिशन ते म्हणतात बीजेपीकच आज ओपोजिशन मुक्त भारत जाय म्हणतात ते बीजेपी पयलीं तो काँग्रेस मुक्त आशिल्लो आज ओपोजिशन मुक्त भारत जाय म्हणून दुसरी गजाल ते म्हणतात की ओपोजिशनच फेल जाला ती एक्टिविस्ट हॅव बिकम ओपोजिशन तिसरी गजाल जे म्हणतात की ज्युडिशियरी फेल झालं म्हणून हाऊ डू यू लुक ॲट ऑल दीज थ्री एस्पेक्ट्स
all three घेऊया first of all BJP has become intolerant to opposition. Now these are you are trying to deduce these things. Why? Because opposition has been totally dismantled. Opposition अशी काय गोष्ट आता उरूना म्हणून तू तशें म्हणटा ताका रियल रिजन कोण आसा बीजेपी आसा काय तूं आसा तुका मॅन्डेट मेळ्ळें न्ही सो हू हॅज गॉन बीजेपी ओके लेट अस अज्यूम फॉर द सेक ऑफ आर्ग्युमेंट दॅट दे आर एंटायझिंग तुका कितें तरी दे आर ल्युअरिंग but then ultimate going there or not going there is your decision. How you blame that on BJP, whether it is right or not, whether any person, whether that merger, the split, whether it should be recognized, who brought in, that's a separate issue. But finally, who is the ultimate repository of trust? You don't have your conscience. So tu ata, and for that you are blaming somebody else is not something that's speaks very highly about yourself. One aspect of the matter. Second, आता ते स्पीकर आम्ही म्हणले पळय इट्स अ वॅलिड पॉयंट इट नीड्स अ ड्यू अँड डेलिबरेट अँड इन डेप्थ this, but ultimately you tell me if a promotion of a judge is a issue, if a suspension of a judge is issue, if a dismissal of a judge an issue, who handles that issue? The judiciary only handles it. So question is merely because a political issue has been handled by a political by somebody who is elected, that itself does not make it biased kind of a attitude per se. आता हाका उपाय आसा. Now for example in certain countries स्पीकर खंयच्यान निवडून येतलो ते पयलींच ठरलेले आसता. पणजेच्यान जो फॉर एक्झाम्पल पणजेच्यान जो कोण येतलो पळय तो स्पीकर. नाव इफ यू डू दॅट देन दॅट पर्सन वील हॅव मोर क्रेडिबिलिटी. वाय? बिकॉज he may not be a person from ruling side, and that person you can always field a person of some stature who has got certain knowledge about law, about experience, governance, administration. अशा मनशाक थंय घालपाक मेळटा. So that could be one alternative, but that's a discussion for separate day. Today is not today not. Now let us come to judiciary. See, you see, as far as today's failure is concerned, whether judiciary requires reforms, whether there has to be some other mechanism in which we conduct our judicial framework, is not something to do with present degradation of the opposition. Now you are looking at it as if something has been degraded, and why this man has not done enough for the purpose of stopping that degradation, why political parties have not done, why social activities have not done enough, why speakers speaker has not done enough, why judiciary has not done enough. I don't think so. That's a wrong way of looking. Why you are degraded is a question. Look within. You cannot, your failures, you don't try to thrust it on judiciary, speaker, social activities or some other person.
Let's go one by one. Let's go practically one by one, Radhaba. What has happened to Congress? कारण आज काँग्रेसीची एक हा नवीन तांगेलो प्रदेशाध्यक्ष आयलो, स्टेट प्रेसिडेंट आयलो, येस सावन तांची झगडी चालू आहात, तांची केस्तांवात चालू आहात, तांचो एक्स प्रेसिडेंट गेलो काँग्रेसी बरोबर रावतलो काय ना हो मोठो प्रश्न आसा. दुसरी वटेच्यान काँग्रेसीन एक्चुअली ऑन ग्राउंड कितें काम केलां, कॉन्स्टिट्युएन्सी भितर तांचे कडेन कॅन्डिडेट आसात काय ना हो एक मोठो प्रश्न आहा. आनी जर ते आसात जाल्यार आतां मेरेन एटलिस्ट लोकांक दिश्टी पडपा जाय आशिल्ले, कोणूच दिश्टी पडना. अशी परिस्थिती भितर वॉट डू यू थिंक हॅज गॉन रॉंग विथ काँग्रेस, नॉट ओनली आफ्टर गिरीश चोडणकर, इवन बिफोर गिरीश चोडणकर?
Yeah, see what happens now.
Yeah.
Now, just a little bit of answer to Siddharth. Now, to say that the BJP is not responsible, at least in Goa, is completely unacceptable. The BJP is a political party with its own ideology. It gets men elected. After you have get your men elected, how do you accept people from other parties elected on different platforms? How do you get Ali Sikera in your party? How do you accept Michael Lobo and his wife who had left your party, contest against you and won back into the party? See, essentially when you are claiming ideology, when you are claiming to be honest, how come you are accepting people who are not ideologically aligned to you into your party? I am pointing this out because in India and in Goa, there are not even 0.5% people who are ideologically inclined. Everybody wants to run around. That is the reality. That is why a law was required which would prevent such a thing. Anyway, that isn't now.
Yeah.
Now, what else had you said? Ask me.
काँग्रेसीचे किती झालं का म्हणून?
See, Congress.
Before Girish Chodhankar and after Girish Chodhankar.
I'll tell you what happens. You see, Congress has a history of pushing into Goa persons who are loyal to the High Command. It started in 1963. Purushottam Kakudkar, who had nothing with to do with Goa. His Goan but was always attached to the Nehru Gandhi family. They sent him as Goa president. He knew nothing. And the Congress got routed. Everybody lost the deposit. Now, right now, the only plus point of Girish Chodhankar is that he is a loyal soldier of the Nehru Gandhi family, not of the Congress, mind you, of Rahul Gandhi and whatever they are. So that is his only plus point. In Goa, he is a non-entity, as everybody knows. He has lost every election. He has no credibility. Now they have sent him here, possibly because they do not trust anyone else, considering the fact that every congressman after election runs away. So to that extent, Rahul Gandhi may not be wrong. But the trouble is, now they have been out of power, at least during the current term for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
They had enough time to organize their party, constituency-wise, create candidates. Now, I know almost certainly now that Girish Chodhankar is negotiating with a former BJP minister in Mandran to contest on Congress ticket, with former minister in Vasco to Congress ticket, with former municipal president in Vasco and minister in Mormugaon, with a very well-known wheeler dealer in Santa Cruz, another wheeler dealer in Nuve. I mean, these are sort of people, they are negotiating to give them ticket because of their winnability. Now, before I conclude, you see the problem is winnability. See, if you want a winnable candidate, often you get winnable candidates who have skeletons in their cupboards. And you give them tickets, the moment they win, the BJP sends their ED, their income tax, their CBI, the skeletons are rattled, and they will run back into the BJP because they are under threat. So, Congress should select candidates who have no
winnable candidate naka. Losable candidate हाडून दिवपाचो.
No, you create winnable candidate. You are a political party, you had 3 years to create. Go to the villages, get your workers organized, get them to select candidates. What do you mean you have no winnable candidates?
बरें. म्हाका सांगा सिद्धार्थ बाब, तुमकां हें पडटा की काँग्रेसीचे ते म्हणटात की तुमगेले फायनली अशें करून तुमी इलेक्शन जिखल्यार सुद्दां तुमचे लोक तुमचे बरोबर उरचे नात. पण सध्या कशी आहा की म्हाका 40 म्हाका दिसता मेजून भिजून राधा रावान सांगल्या ते सुद्दां जर एड केले राधा बाब जाल्यार 10 सुद्दां जायना काँग्रेसीचे कॅन्डिडेट सध्या आफ्टर ऑल युअर मॅचिनेशन्स. सो हे कितें?
Ultimately, we basically are talking about models. What kind of a model opposition should inculcate so that they are able to make their mark. Now we have two models. एक शिवाजीचो model आशिल्लो. Shivaji would give you a horse and a sword, and then he would ask, you go, you conquer that this, and then I will nominate you as a Sardar. And there is to be a Aurangzeb model who is to go, ransack everything, capture everything, and then he himself is to nominate his person. Now Congress's model appears to be that you manage your constituency, you get elected, and thereafter I will decide who should lead the party and this. So this kind of a model has never worked. आता BJP, he might say today, but how BJP has come up, you see they are in power for so many years, but have they come to power by somebody else's blessing? No, they have come to power because of their hard and sincere work, professional approach. You may speak 10 bad things about them, saying that they are using this, they are using that. But what about Congress was in power for 10 years at this? Why was it routed? Because BJP went pillar to post each houses, and they have brought to the notice of the people the failures of the government, and they gave them an alternative plan. What stops you from doing it? So see, tomorrow ED will be, now he said ED will be sent or income tax will be sent. Are पहिली निवडून येत मरे पहिली. Is there a plan to get elected? First of all, I don't see any plan for the purpose of getting elected in the next year, in next election. तुमचं कसलं काम दिसना. Now you are talking about candidates. There are no volunteers. When the elections are held in booth, there are no tables put outside. लोकांची ती इलेक्शनाची स्लिप वरून दिवची पडटा इलेक्शनाच्या पहिली. Voters slip. How many Congress candidates are able to send voter slip in Goa? Not even 50% of the houses.
काँग्रेसीचे RGP किती झाला? Now the third largest party in the state, second biggest opposition party in the state. सद्याक ती तांचं ओपोजिशन सगळें भितरच चल्लां. ओपोजिशन विदीन भायल्यांचे आतां उलोवपाचें बंद केलें तांणी. ते आतां एकमेकाचेरच उलयतात, एकमेकाचेरच फार मारतात, एकमेकाचेरच केसी घालतात. What has gone wrong with RGP, Radhabab?
See, one can see that the football has been punctured, deflated. They may not be able to play football anymore at this rate. But obviously, the Congress, the RGP was a one-man party. And I've been saying that from the beginning. They don't seem to have any collective responsibility. And unfortunately for them, their Supremo lost the elections. And the spotlight shifted to Viresh Borkar. And I get a feeling that Manoj Parab did not take kindly that it is he who formed the party, he is the brain thrust behind it, and that Viresh takes the credit. At least he gets all the publicity. And then many internal dynamics may have come to the fore. The net result
also.
Yes,
international also.
Yes. Now the net result is, with the differences between them and being a small party, and if you look at their cadre, and if you look at all the social media posts, I've been watching them very clearly. People are subpar who are with them. Their posts, they normally abuse everybody. If I say something against RG, they'll start abusing me instead of replying to the post. This has been the case. That means their cadre or whoever is in charge, they are not people who will take an issue and fight it out. They start abusing you. And this is what's happening now. They are constantly abusing each other.
They are abusing each other.
Each other, yes. Yeah. That has been the trend in RGP from day one.
What has gone wrong with RGP?
I will begin with saying, were there not whether what happened, I don't know, tussles between Bhau and Manor Bab? People would not say that internal there is a rift between them. Did they handle it very maturely? Now, was there always not a talk and articles written between Vajpayee and Advani when they were in the forefront? Did they not handle it maturely? What has gone wrong in RG? I will tell you what is gone. Because अशें सदांच म्हणटात, व्यक्ती से बडा दल से बडा देश. This has to be philosophy if you are coming in this. हांकां काय ना, देशूय गेलो हातून, दलूय गेला हातून. पयलें म्हाजें कितें तें सांग. I should get prominence, major share of whatever, if it is coming, I should get it. Limelight, I should get it. If it's the MLA seat vacant, I should get it. self-interest has prevailed upon the interest of party and interest of the nation. Now, if see, the difference is always there. Why should, if people are putting effort and everybody feels that I should be adequately rewarded, there is nothing wrong in it. But then there are mature ways of handling these issues. RGP has failed there.
म्हाका राधाबाब फायनल आमी त्याला हांव एक सादो प्रश्न विचारता कारण आमी बीजेपीचेरूय उलयले ओपोजिशनाचे उलयतना आनी ओपोजिशन पार्टींचेरूय मेजर 2 पार्टींचेर उलयले बाकीच्यांचे उलोवपाची सद्याक परिस्थितीच ना कारण ते खंय आसा तसो व्हडलो प्रश्न आहा तरी आसतना हांव तुमकां विचारता गोवा फॉरवर्ड सद्या हातपाय मारतना दिसता राधाबाब हे हातपाय मारता पळय ते तातूंतल्यान कितें जातलें काय म्हणून
कितें आहा मरे as far as I can see you can't rule out Vijay Sardesai. He is quite a character. He is a leader also. He has legislative ability. And I've been saying for long that someone like him or him must be in the Congress to give the Congress a push.
ते जालें काँग्रेस घेता का आत कितें करपाचें
आतां काँग्रेस घेना जाल्यार काँग्रेस गेले घरा because he is going to field candidate.
काँग्रेस घर गेली ती एक जाली विजय खंय गेलो
No, Vijay may win. See, what I understood was they were inclined to take him in. But there is a demand from the Congress, that Fatorda seat Vijay should vacate for Girish Chodanka.
तुमी आनी सामकें वेगळेंच फंड मारता
No, this has been going on for you, that they should vacate Fatorda for Girish because he has been contesting there, he has his eyes on that, and Vijay should shift to Margaon. This is totally unacceptable. Vijay has to contest from Fatorda. And if the Congress thinks that they are going to accommodate Girish by knocking off Vijay from his pedestal, no one is going to support them. They will lose both.
म्हाका सिद्धार्थबाब सांगा गोवा फॉरवर्ड जे हातपाय मारता तांचें कितें जातलें
See, let us assume the worst. Let us say that Vijay wins in Fatorda by thumping majority. I do not know what will happen, but let us assume.
वर्स्ट कितें म्हणटर तुमी
Because I do not know. I do not know. See, he has been elected 3 times there, and now scenarios have changed. There is going to be a RG factor there. There is going to be a Goa Forward. There is going to be a Congress, and there is going to be a BJP. With all this, I see BJP having upper hand. So therefore, but in any case, let us assume for the sake, because the question is of what is the future for Goa Forward.
Yeah.
Assuming the worst, let us assume that he wins with a thumping majority. How does it change the dynamics of Goa? तो तितलाच पुरतो न्ही
पण ते एक्सपांड बी करपाक सोदता तांगे कांय जावपा ना
वेर वॉट खंयच्या दुसऱ्या कॉन्स्टिट्युन्सीन तांचें काम आसा खंयच्या दुसऱ्या कॉन्स्टिट्युन्सीन तांची एक कमिटी आसा खंयच्या दुसऱ्या कॉन्स्टिट्युन्सीन तांणी कसले इशू घेतले आनी काम करता तो हीज परफॉर्मन्स इन असेंब्ली हॅज बीन बेटर दॅट वॉट इज देर आय मीन आय डोंट नीड टू से और एक्सेप्ट इट or you know reject it. It is all there, but that is not sufficient for the purpose of running a party. For running a party, he should have had sufficient time to expand it all over Goa. Just as whatever he has been saying for Congress applies to him also. It does not appear that Goa Forward has passed in that test of going to the people and getting the confidence of the people. You know, this
is too little, too late, म्हणटा.
Yes, this is too little, too late, and star batsman alone is not going to win you a World Cup.
Yeah.
One star batsman. It's a team effort. It requires everything. You will have to go. You will have to have a team of volunteers. You will have to have a program. Then you will have to have a nice structured way of going things. Professional approach and star batsman. That is what is going to.
हांव इतल्याचेर आज थांबता. आमी एक बरी गजाल आज पळयली की सगळे जाण एग्री करतात की ओपोजिशनाचे जे नंबर 1, नंबर 2, नंबर 3, नंबर 4 पार्टी आसात त्यो फॉरगेट अबाउट टेकिंग ऑन बीजेपी. दे आर अनेबल टू गेट देअर ओन अफेअर्स इन ऑर्डर. इतली आमची सिरियस परिस्थिती आसा न्ही इलेक्शनां आसा 6 म्हयने. म्हळ्यार कितली मोठी क्रायसीस पळया ही आमचे खातीर. आमी पळय रावंड टेबलूय करतना म्हणिल्लें की लोकांक सरकाराचेर राग आसा आनी ओपोजिशनाची तिडक आहा म्हणून. ती ह्या कारणां खातीर. प्रश्न होच उरता की हें फुडलें इलेक्शन जें जातलें तें ओपोजिशन जर अशेंच आसलें जाल्यार बीजेपीची जर कांय कॉन्स्टिट्युएन्सीनी पळयलें जाल्यार थंय बीजेपी वर्सीस बीजेपी चालू आहा. मागीर हें इलेक्शन बीजेपी वर्सीस ओपोजिशन जातलें और बीजेपी वर्सीस काँग्रेस जातलें किंवा बीजेपी वर्सीस आरजीपी जातलें काय बीजेपी वर्सीस बीजेपी जातलें आनी तें जावप गोंया खातीर आमच्या राज्या खातीर आनी लोकशाये खातीर बऱ्याचें काय कितें हो मोठो प्रश्न आहा. आमची डिबेट आयकून ओपोजिशनाची तकलें कितलो उजवाड पडटलो म्हाका खबर ना, लोकांची तकलें पडटलो. तुमी तरी आतां त्या दृश्टींतल्यान आपआपल्या वाठारांतल्या लोकांक आनी हे जे ओपोजिशनाचे कोण कोण प्रतिनिधी आसात तांचे तकल्यांक उजवाड घालपाक जाल्यार पळयात. आमी आज इतल्याचेर थांबतात. सिद्धार्थ बाब, राधा बाब, थँक्स अ लॉट फॉर पार्टिसिपेटींग. वैद्यवाद प्रुडंट. नमस्कार.